Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 10th of October, 2019, to talk about everything that went down tonight at Hell in a Cell. Yeah, we'll talk about everything, the good and the bad. So with that, see who is with us here in the live chat. We've got Jeff Guevara, Delaney K, Jason Dalton, Kristen McNutt, got Brendan Jowdane Paquette, I hope I said that right, Georgia Girl, Thomas WWE, Juan Rowlett, Sinclair Saturday, Nelson, what's going on, everybody? So, tonight was Hell in a Cell. Nelson, no Nick tonight, just myself. And there's some good, but there was also really bad on tonight's show. TVP 83, yes, we will be taking calls after we do the live review. And, I thought Sasha and Becky had a great Hell in a Cell match. I thought Bray and Seth could have had I thought their match could have been pretty dang good. But for what happened in that match, it just makes absolutely no sense to basically, they didn't say it like this, but basically have a DQ in a no DQ Hell in a Cell match. It makes no sense. So, I mean, just looking at the show, overall, I was enjoying this show. Natalya and Lacey Evans was better than I expected. And then we have the women's Hell in a Cell. We have Rowan, Daniel, Bryan, Erick, Rowan, Luke Harper. And I'm like, two matches that I thought were great. Well, the tornado tag match, I don't know if I could go as far as saying great, but I thought it was really good. So I'm like, oh, is this going to be the tone? And then from there, things kind of seem to slow down and just be like, okay, this is a WWE show. This is making a little more sense. Drew Duhlman with a super chat donation. Thank you there, buddy. So, on the kickoff show, we did get Lacey Evans against Natalya for I think the sixth time since WrestleMania. And I thought this was an okay match. And Lacey Evans, you can tell she's getting better. You can tell she's growing as an in-ring performer. Evans had early control. She tried to roll up Natty for a near fall. Natalya attempted a sharpshooter. Evans regained control and worked over the left knee. Back from the break, Evans was firmly in control and used a slingshot elbow for a near fall. Evans went back to working over the knee, and she attempted a sharpshooter, but Natalya slapped Evans in the face instead. Evans went back to attacking the knee and attempted a sharpshooter yet again. Natalya pushed Evans to the floor. Natalya briefly fought back, but Evans caught her with a clothesline. The finish then came when Evans missed a moonsault, and Natalya was able to roll her over and lock her in to a sharpshooter. So Natty picks up the big win. Referee raises her hand in celebration. Lacey Evans is staggering to get to her feet. And then bada boom, she's hit with the forearm. Natty knocks out Lacey Evans. I thought it was all right. So then going forward, kicking off the main card, we did have with the Raw Women's Championship on the line, Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. I thought this match was just great. It's hard after, what did they say? This is the 42nd, if I've heard correctly, Hell in a Cell match. And it's hard to watch a Hell in a Cell match and go, I've never seen that before. And we saw at least two things in this match that they've never done in Hell in a Cell before. So as the cage is lowering, both women are in there. Banks jumps Lynch and they fight to the floor. They then roll outside the cage. And the cage keeps lowering. And you hear King go, "Why does the cage keep going down? They got to get him back in there." Well, the door's open, so get him in the door. So Banks rams Lynch's head into the cage. Lynch then kicked the cage door into Banks' face. They both finally get into the ring, and the bell rings, starting off the match. Referee attempted to lock the cage. Lynch grabbed the chain and attacked Banks with it. Lynch was firmly in control early and locked the cage door herself. Banks briefly took over before Lynch threw her into the steps. Lynch went under the ring and pulled out a table and a ladder. Banks attacked Lynch from behind with a chair and set the ladder up against the cage. Lynch then rocked Banks in the face with the chair. Banks fought back and scored several near falls. Lynch briefly took over, but Banks kicked a chair into Lynch's face. Lynch fought back and hit 3 sliding drop kicks, which sent Banks into the cage. In an awesome spot, Banks hit a Meteora from the apron onto Lynch, and Lynch went back first into the cage, or into the ladder that was at ringside, leaned up against the cage. If this would have went off, like this move went off perfectly. But if Sasha would have jumped, how do I say this? A little bit higher, she would have not fully landed on Becky's shoulders, and then I guess you could say it went face first to the ladder, but they did it fine, so why criticize it? Lynch then rocked Banks in the face with the chair. Banks fought Becky to the ground until she finally tried to go for a near fall. Only got a near fall again. Lynch briefly took over. Banks kicked a chair in Lynch's face. Lynch fought back and knocked Lynch knocked Sasha into the cage. Back in the ring, Banks got the upper hand and continued to work over the left arm of Becky Lynch by trapping it in a chair. Banks sat Lynch on a chair and hit a Meteora from the second rope for a near fall. More and more chairs started getting thrown in the ring here. Banks then opened a chair and stuck it in the side of the cage. Like she wedged it. This is something I've never seen before. She took a chair, opened it, and wedged the legs into the cage. So that way when she lets go, it's like sticking out of the cage. And what happened was she reversed an Irish whip and sent Becky face first into the chair. And the chair was like a roadblock, I guess you can say, in a way. Great spot. Banks attempted to hit Lynch with the chair, but Lynch ducked and rolled up Banks for a near fall. Lynch hit a drop kick and sent Banks into the cage. She followed up with a suplex into the cage. Lynch used a drop toe hold on the open chair that she had laying upside down. Followed up with a bulldog into the chair as well. Lynch threw a chair at Banks, and Banks caught it. Lynch then hit a missile drop kick into the chair for a near fall. Crowd started chanting for Becky. "Let's go, Becky. Let's go, Sasha" chants as well. Banks regained control and used a kendo stick. Then, in another great, innovative, never-before-seen spot, they took the kendo sticks and they stuck them in like the corner of the cage, almost making them like a platform. Lynch threw a chair, or put a chair. Sorry, I lost my spot. Lynch then placed a chair on this makeshift kendo stick platform. Lynch then sat Banks on the chair and rocked her with a nice running drop kick off the apron. Fans broke out into "This is awesome" chant, and that was awesome. Something, again, we've never seen inside of a Hell in a Cell. Banks finally got her wits about her after a little bit, hit a Meteora through a table in the ring for a near fall. Banks then locked in the Banks statement using a kendo stick, but Lynch slipped out and beat down Banks with the kendo stick. Banks then sent Lynch into the chairs that were set up earlier. Banks tossed in a bunch more chairs into the ring. Lynch then fought back and gave Banks a suplex, or I think more of a Becksploder, off the top rope onto the pile of chairs locked on the disarmor, and Sasha had to tap. Becky retains the belt, and both women look great in this amazing Hell in a Cell match, which was just perfect to start the show. And it was like a, what can you guys do? Top that kind of moment. So next up, in what was today turned into a tornado tag team match, which means every man's legal at all times. No tagging in and out and no disqualification. Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan against Erick, Rowan, and Luke Harper. I thought this match was really, really good. Almost great. All four guys brawled in the ring to start the match. Bryan nailed Rowan with a missile dropkick and rocked Harper with a suicide dive to the floor. Harper then started working over like, he started selling the knee like it got injured. I don't think it did because he was running fine later in the match, but he did a really good job early making us think that the knee was really messed up. In the ring, Reigns attempted a Superman punch, but Harper caught him with a super kick. The heels took over and isolated Reigns in the ring. Bryan attempted to help, but the heels overpowered him and sent him back out of the ring. Harper sent Bryan into the barricade, and Rowan hit a running crossbody on Reigns that looked really good. The heels then hit Reigns with the steps. The heels isolated Bryan in the ring now. Rowan then rocked Bryan with the spinning heel kick for a near fall. The heels attempted a doomsday device, but Reigns cut him off. Bryan rolled up Rowan with a victory roll, but only got a near fall. Bryan attempted the bell lock, but Harper broke it up. Heels regained control and took over. Bryan made a brief comeback, but Harper nailed him with a Michinoku driver for a 2. Bryan rocked Harper with kicks in the corner and attacked the injured knee. He rocked Harper with yes kicks. Rowan dragged Bryan out of the ring, but Reigns nailed him with a drive-by. Harper then hit a suicide dive on Rowan. Rowan and Harper then cleared off the 3 announce tables. They dropped Bryan face first on the apron, and then Rowan slammed Harper onto Reigns. Rowan then broke off a piece of the barricade and hit Reigns with it and sent him into the crowd. Harper and Rowan then attempted a powerbomb through the announce table to Daniel Bryan, but Bryan countered Hurricane Ranaing, if that's even a word, Harper off of the announce table. As Bryan moves out of the way, all of a sudden, here comes Roman Reigns just running across one announce table, running across another announce table, and spearing Rowan through the third announce table. Both men are down. And that was just a cool spot because you're focused on what they're doing with Bryan. Bryan hits the Hurricane Rana. Your eyes follow Harper off of the table. And then all of a sudden, here comes Roman out of nowhere. I thought it was just, the sequence was done masterfully. So in the ring, Bryan hits running dropkicks in the corner on Harper. Bryan attempted a Hurricane Rana off the top, but Harper countered into a nice sit-out powerbomb for a near fall. Harper hit a suplex on Bryan, but Bryan landed on his feet. Actually, he hit like 3 dragon suplexes, and Bryan landed on his feet on the last one. The finish then came when Reigns hit a Superman punch on Harper, and Bryan hit the running knee. Reigns then hit a spear on Harper and pinned him 1, 2, 3. So after the match, Bryan and Roman are in the ring, and, they're getting their hands raised and whatnot, and Daniel Bryan reaches out for a handshake. As Roman goes to give him the handshake, he pulls his hand back. Bryan, that is. And so we're like, whoa. Is he still a heel? Why pull the handshake? No. Pull the handshake because Bryan wants a hug. Bryan amps up the crowd to get Roman to give him the hug. Roman finally does give him the hug. They hug it out. Huge pop for the hug. And Roman's just like, okay. Kind of confused look on his face, like, I guess that's okay, we won. So in the back, Charlie Caruso interviews Universal Champion Seth Rollins. Rollins promised to defeat the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, tonight, as he will burn it down in Hell in a Cell. He then noted, well, I hope. So then we got Randy Orton and Ali. They say this match was made on the pre-show. This actually goes all the way back to when Randy Orton injured Ali, taking him out of Hell in a Cell. So Ali climbed to the top, but Orton shoved him off. Orton literally threw him from the top rope to the floor. He lands right on his ribs, and Orton slows down the pace. This is like one of the first things that happens in the match. So Orton attempted a back suplex on the announce table, but Ali slipped out and landed kind of on his feet, barely. Ali had a nasty bruise on his ribcage from where he fell from the top rope to the floor. Ali fought back and sent Orton to the floor with a dropkick. Followed up the suicide dive, which sent Orton over the announce table. Ali then hit a rolling X Factor for a near fall. Orton fought back and hit a power slam for a 2. Again, Orton with the best. Him and Goldust, or Dustin, have the 2 best snap power slams in the business. Ali attempted a 450 splash, but Orton moved and Ali landed on his feet. Ali hit a tornado DDT, but missed another 450 attempt. Orton hit a draping DDT and attempted an RKO. Ali countered the RKO by jumping with his hands. Ali fought back, but Orton finally did hit an RKO and pinned him. Orton then a little bit, showed a little respect to Ali after the match, kind of like a good job kind of thing. We then did get the announcement that tomorrow night, on Monday Night Raw, Natalya and Lacey Evans yet again, but this time in a last woman standing match. We then got the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships on the line. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defending against the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. So on commentary, Michael Cole pushed the draft and the idea that Fox and USA are the ones that want their own separate brands and want their own stars, which is weird because I guess because of the Fox thing now, we're going to get references to USA because we never really, other than we'll be right back on the USA Network, we never got references or anything about USA other than that and welcome to the Monday Night Raw on the USA Network. Like, other than that, we never hear about USA, so maybe we'll hear more now going forward. Like, this is the Raw USA brand. That's the Smackdown Fox brand. I don't know. So, we start this match off, and the first thing you notice is, are Zayn and Asuka heels? Because usually when Asuka does her entrance, she pulls the mask off, she kind of puts it to her lip, smiles for a second, kind of like panders to the crowd for a minute. This time, she pulls the mask off, puts it right to her lip, doesn't even smile, and just jumps down. So you knew something was about to happen. And it looks like Kairi Sane and Asuka may now be heels. Can't really say, but maybe. So Kairi Sane knocked Bliss off the apron early and then isolated Cross in her corner. Asuka knocked Bliss off the apron and hit a sliding knee to Nikki Cross. Bliss and Cross took over and isolated Asuka after a little while. Cross caught Asuka in the ring skirt, and Bliss rocked her with a sliding dropkick. The Kabuki Warriors took over and isolated Bliss on their side of the ring. And this is where they really started acting heel. Asuka used an ankle lock and a half crab on Bliss. Bliss did counter the ankle lock. Cross got the hot tag, did a couple good moves, and then got basically taken back down by the Kabuki Warriors. Zayn attempted an insane elbow, but Cross got her feet up and hit a neck breaker for a near fall. Great spot. Cross rocked Asuka with the clothesline. Bliss hit a cannonball off the apron onto Zayn. Asuka will then hit the green mist into Cross's eyes, kick her in the head, and then pin her, with the Kabuki Warriors becoming the brand new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. And we really don't know what these titles are going to hold going forward because we don't know. With Michael Cole saying Fox wants their own roster of superstars, USA wants their own roster of superstars. Well, where do the women's tag titles fit? Do they only go to one brand? Can they still go to both brands? Will they maybe show up in NXT? I don't know, but I liked the match. I thought all 4 women worked really well together. And what this did was, it's like, okay, we changed the titles, but we did it in a way where it's like some may not like this because they worked heel, but some are really going to like this because it's the Kabuki Warriors. So it works both ways. After this, they recap Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury and their angle from Smackdown. We then got confirmed. So yesterday, they quote-unquote invited Tyson Fury to come to Raw, but it was confirmed that Tyson Fury will be on Raw. So we had the OC come out, and they're supposed to take on the Viking Raiders and a mystery opponent. And my first thought, when they first announced this, was Cedric. But then when we got the Braun Tyson Fury recap, I go, it might be Braun. Excuse me. And it was Braun. It was Braun Strowman and the Viking Raiders against the OC. The Faces had the early advantage after Erick gave Luke a suplex. The OC eventually took over when Styles interfered from behind and isolated Erick on their side of the ring. Strowman caught Styles at one point, but Gallows knocked him off the apron. Erick caught Styles with a huge backdrop. Strowman got the hot tag and ran wild. He ran around ringside, knocked down Gallows, Anderson, and AJ. Strowman missed a charge and went shoulder first into the post, though, at one point. Styles locked in the half crab, but Erick made the save. Strowman attempted the power slam, but Anderson went after Strowman's leg. The OC then beat down Strowman, and the referee called for the disqualification. Crowd loudly booed this. Very bad finish. So after the match, the Viking Raiders hit the double suicide dives on Gallows and Anderson. Styles attempted a phenomenal forearm, but he instead punched Styles in midair, knocking him out. Kind of like basically Big Show used to do with his knockout KO. What would he call it? WMD punch. So this was all just to make Braun look like he's got a killer one-punch shot against Tyson Fury. Confrontation coming tomorrow. Styles did a good and bad job selling the effect of the punch. I felt like he did a good job in selling it, making it seem like he really got rocked. But at the same time, I think he comedically oversold it as well. Just a little bit. Just a little. Gallows and Anderson had to help AJ all the way up the ramp, help him get to the back. Styles stumbled a couple times, but he was still able to crawl up there, with help from his buddies, with the U.S. title intact. In the back, the Street Profits talked about Raw tomorrow night with Tyson Fury, and then suddenly, R-Truth and Carmella ran into them. They fell down, and then Truth falls down. Carmella gets distracted. She then gets rolled up by I don't know who at first. I'm like, who the hell is that? 1, 2, 3, new 24/7 champion. She stands up, and it's Tamina. I'm like, whoa, Tamina's still here? Shocker to me. So then we got King Corbin against Chad Gable. I've seen this match who knows how many times in the last couple of weeks, but we got it. Corbin mocked Gable early with short jokes. Ha ha ha. It's getting pretty funny, especially with what they did at the end. Gable charged to Corbin and took him to the ground. Gable applied the ankle lock, but Corbin fought back. Corbin slowed down the pace and used a chin lock. Gable fought out, but Corbin rocked him with a clothesline. Gable did recover and hit a rolling German suplex for a near fall. Gable hit 2 rolling kicks in the corner, but Corbin countered the third into a powerbomb. Corbin recovered after hitting the powerbomb. Gable fought back a little bit and slammed his leg against the post. Corbin then hit a deep 6 for a 2. Corbin attempted the end of days, but Gable slipped out. Followed up with the moonsault, only got a near fall. Gable then went right into an ankle lock attempt, but Corbin made it to the ropes. Corbin recovered and chokeslammed Gable on the apron. Corbin tried to hit Gable with his scepter, but Gable ducked. Referee tried to take the scepter from Corbin, and Gable rolled him up for the victory. Him trying to use a weapon was his wrongdoing, his own foul doing, or whatever you want to call it. So then after the match, my ears did not deceive me. Rick Hamilton says, and your winner, Shorty Gable. Remember, they trademarked a couple months ago, Shorty G. Corey Graves laughed at this. Michael Cole did not like this on commentary. And as they were introducing the international commentary, R-Truth and Carmella were chasing Tamina. Tamina pulled Funaki in front of her. Carmella rocked Tamina with a super kick and then told Truth to pin her. If commentary was correct, they said he's a 20-time 24/7 champion, or as he likes to say, 48/7, 24/7 European 7-Eleven champion. So we got the SmackDown Live Women's Championship match. Bayley defending against Charlotte Flair. Flair had the early advantage, but Bayley took over with a poke to the eye. Remember, Bayley's a little heel now. She's got a little vicious streak. Flair regained control, but Bayley dragged her to the floor. Bayley took over and attacked Flair's leg. Bayley slammed Flair's leg against the ring post. She attempted the figure 4 leg lock, but Flair countered it. Flair took over and worked Bayley's leg. Flair hit the natural selection, but Bayley grabbed the bottom rope. Flair attempted a moonsault, but Bayley got her knees up. Flair rolled to the floor and hit a fallaway slam. Flair attempted the figure 4 leg lock, but Bayley used an inside cradle for a near fall. Bayley tried to use the ropes, but for an illegal pin. Referee caught her. Flair rocked Bayley with a big boot and locked in the figure 8 to win and become the brand new SmackDown Live Women's Champion, and with that, becoming the 10-time, let that soak in, Women's Champion. Yes, Charlotte is a 10-time Women's Champion. So after the match, Charlotte's walking up the ramp, celebrating with her newly won championship as Bayley is crying on the floor, quote-unquote, throwing a fit, some may say. And then the crowd, for some reason, starts chanting, not a lot of the crowd, but a good section enough to hear them, na, 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 hey, 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 goodbye. Like, was this a you're fired match? Was this a career-ending match? Why the na-na? Why the goodbye song? It made no sense. But the crying thing, it was a play off of the whole Bayley and Sasha crying after Mania because they lost their belts. Those who go to the back, Kayla Braxton interviewed Chad Gable. She called him Shorty, even though she's shorter than he is. But he said he's okay with it. He said today we finally saw Chad Gable be the we saw Gable be the bigger man. Corbin then attacks him backstage, beats him down, leaves him for dead. Juan Riley, yes, he says that the crowd was also chanting Yowie Wowie at Bayley. Just a couple, not a lot. The na-na chants were louder. So then, we get the main event. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And this is the top of the hour. So I'm like, this is going at least a half an hour. Top of the hour. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, challenging Universal Champion Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell. Seth does his entrance. Fiend comes out with red lights on, and the lights never go off. They stay red the whole time. Apparently, according to a couple people that were there live, it's hard to see, but above the ring on the video board, they did show what we saw on the WWE Network, so it was easier for them to watch that than down in the ring. Some said that the lights were a little blinding. Why do this to the live crowd? Why do this? So Rollins and Wyatt started attacking each other with kendo sticks early, and it didn't affect either. Wyatt took over and was firmly in control. He hit a splash against the cage onto the floor. Rollins fought back and rocked Wyatt with the steps. He brought in a table and hit a suicide dive on Wyatt. Rollins attempted another dive, but Wyatt caught him and basically hit him with a Sister Abigail face first into the cage. Fans broke out in a Yowie Wowie chant. Rollins then hit a big frog splash onto Wyatt in the ring through a table. Took him like 6 shots, kicks to the gut, rocks to the face, super kicks to the face to get him to even lay on the table. Wyatt got right up, though, from this, and Rollins hits him with the curb stomp. Wyatt gets right up. Rollins attempted another stomp, but Wyatt caught him with his Sister Abigail for a near fall. Wyatt then went under the ring and pulled out a giant mallet. It's basically the mallet we've seen on Firefly Funhouse. He rammed the mallet into Rollins' gut and pushed him against the cage with it. Remember this. Remember this. He used the mallet. So, fans are booing at this point. Rollins fought back, went for a curb stomp. Curb stomps Bray face first onto the mallet. Doesn't affect Bray. Rollins then hits 2 jumping knees in the ring, off the ropes. Doesn't affect Bray. Doesn't go down. Rollins follows it with a series of curb stomps. Fans booed as Rollins. Booed Rollins, but they cheered at the same time. It was weird. Rollins would hit a move, they cheered, then they go right back to booing. Wyatt got back to his feet. Rollins then hit a pedigree when Wyatt kicked out a 1 huge pop. Rollins continued to hit more curb stomps. Went for the pin, kick out of 2. Wyatt was just dead, not moving. Rollins then literally brings in a chair and just smacks him in the face with it. Only gets a 2 count. Rollins places the chair on his face and smashes the chair with the ladder. Only gets a near fall. Rollins then brings in a toolbox. So he takes the chair or the ladder, lays it across Bray's face, but then he opens the ladder and puts the chair between it. What's that going to do? That's not going to make a difference. Then he takes the toolbox, he starts bashing the chair ladder combo across the face of Bray. And then he goes for the pin and Bray doesn't tap out. Or Bray kicks out. So Rollins then teases using a sledgehammer. Remember, Bray used this earlier. He teases using the hammer and the referee tells him, don't do it. Basically says, I'll disqualify you. When I'm like, a DQ in a Hell in a Cell? What kind of bullshit is this? And so he uses the hammer. And the ref calls the DQ and they pull up the cage. And the crowd's just livid. I'm livid because it makes no damn sense. Crowd's chanting bullshit for this lame finish. So they're lifting the cage. EMTs come down. Medical staff comes down. They go to check on Bray. And they put him on a stretcher. They put him on the backboard. And then for some weird-ass reason, Seth grabs his tank top and gets in the face of Bray. Bray sits up and puts the mandible claw on Seth. I'm like, what? Crowd's chanting AEW at this point. Wyatt then gives him a Sister Abigail. Fans break out in a restart the match chant as the fight spills to the outside. And so now I guess online they're trying to call it a no contest. It was like Seth beat down Bray too much to where he couldn't continue. But then all of a sudden he was able to continue a minute later. What the fuck? This was just dumb. Fans again broke out in an AEW chant. Fans were very unhappy, and the show just goes off the air. Right into the Goldberg Chronicle special. This was dumb. This was idiotic. This was just every other stupid word I can use. And that was Hell in a Cell. A show that went from a bunch of good matches early to a couple, or actually, a good pre-show match. Like the pre-show match, that's a perfect pre-show match. Then we had 2 great matches. Well, a great and almost great match. Ali and Orton, super solid, really, really, really good. Women's tag title match, just super, super good. Gable Corbin, 6-man. Matches weren't bad. Charlotte Bayley, really good match. Then we get this match. That was just chicanery, bullshittery, whatever you want to call it. Not that great. And with that, now I want to hear what you guys thought of tonight's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. If you want to call into the show, you can do so at 559-475-8473. Again, that's 559-475-8473 to let me know what you thought of tonight's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Also, you can text in your thoughts at 510-906-1341. as we look here. Let's take a call. And caller in the air, what's going on?
Hi, I got a couple questions to ask.
Okay, go for it.
Now that people didn't like the ending of this pay-per-view, I have a question. Do you think anytime people are going to move, a lot of people are going to move away from WWE to where the WWE might soon not have that much viewers, and soon AEW might actually beat
I don't think
WWE?
No, I don't think this finish of the pay-per-view is going to shift the tides, some may say. This is not going to be the thing that's going to put AEW over. No. AEW is going to need to continue to put on good shows every single week, do their pay-per-views when they're going to do their pay-per-views, and just keep doing what they're doing. I don't think this in any way is going to hurt WWE as far as their ratings are going to tank. No, people are going to be mad and they're going to complain, but they're all still going to watch every Monday and Friday and Wednesday.
Okay, and my second question is Nick Fury, is this going to be just this one-time thing with with Braun Strowman maybe at Saudi Arabia? Is it going to be just this one time where he's just going to be fighting Braun Strowman and then that's it, and then go back to boxing?
Correct. The Tyson Fury thing is just a one-off, just like the Cain Velasquez thing may just be actually, the Cain Velasquez thing with Brock may be more than one, but the Tyson Fury thing, just like we saw years ago with Big Show and Mayweather, just a one-time thing.
Yep. Yeah, because I think Braun Strowman is now turned into Big Show, and I think.
You can say that a little bit.
Do you think one last question? Do you think Braun Strowman should take Big Show's his old finisher, the KO punch?
I don't think he should, because people already try to compare him to Big Show enough. And so if you give him Big Show's finish, then it's just overkill.
Oh, okay. That's all I wanted to ask.
All right. Thank you for the call and have a great night.
Okay, bye.
All right. With that, let's just take another call. Just keep going. If you guys keep calling, we'll keep taking them. And if this one's... Nope, Skype did not want to take that one. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim. How you doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm doing all right. Hopefully you're feeling better. I know you've been out the last couple of weeks.
Feeling great.
Doing well.
Thanks for asking.
No problem. And I just want to talk about the ending, dude. I mean, 2 years in a row, freaking DQ, man. That's just...
Yeah, basically.
Really just frustrating. I know. I don't really understand what they're trying to do. I mean, I'm going to be quite honest with you. I really hate it for both Seth and Brayson. I really do. I just, I know they were trying to do everything they can. It's just, I don't know. And I just hate seeing the fans put all the blame on Seth. They shouldn't put the blame on Seth.
They shouldn't put the blame on either of the wrestlers, to be honest.
I know. I mean, just seeing the hate on Twitter on that stuff. I even heard, I'm not sure if you heard this, but after the show went off the air, I heard fans were throwing stuff at Seth Rollins.
I forgot to mention that, yes.
So, I don't know. It's just really a shame to see that. But, I mean, overall, besides that, I thought, the show was still watchable. I really thought...
I liked everything else. To be honest, even Gable and Corbin, for what it was, I didn't find bad. I thought everything else was good except for this main event.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, if the ending didn't happen, I thought, man, this was actually a really good show. I mean, hopefully maybe this was going to be a step in the right direction.
Correct. I felt the same. I was feeling the same way.
And, now it's just, oh, God, tomorrow night's going to be freaking, well, I don't know what's going to happen on Raw tomorrow night. The crowd's not going to be happy with Seth, but I just hope. I mean, I think he's probably gonna get more booed than Roman back in 2010. I feel like.
I could maybe see it, but I don't think nothing against WWE fans, but they go on social media, they complain the night of, and by the next 6 to 7 days, they're over it, and they're just, oh, we're back watching Raw, we're back watching SmackDown. It's like it never happened. So,
Right.
because if you really think about last year when they did the DQ in the Hell in a Cell, they were mad for like a day.
Right. Yeah. I'm not. I don't know how the fans are gonna be act like this time because.
Right.
Yeah. No. Cause I mean, I think a lot of people thought the Fiend was probably gonna win, or I had a feeling something was gonna happen, some BS was gonna happen, and yeah, I guess I was kind of right. And I also saw the video on the WWE YouTube channel already, like over 3,000 dislikes already.
Wow. I haven't checked that.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, just seeing all the fan backlash. So I don't know. I really hate it for both the wrestlers. I really hate it for both of them. I'm mad at the management. I'm not mad at the wrestlers. I know they try to do everything, but it's just
right.
They can't really control what they're doing. I mean, they kind of do, but I don't know.
I would say at the same time, though, we don't know how much input they had in this match and if they came up with any of the ideas for anything. So,
Right.
yes, you got to first think, well, they usually just do what they're told to do, but it's Seth Rollins. He does get quite a bit of input into his matches. So, we'll see what comes of this.
Yeah, I can't. I'm just gonna see what I'm gonna hear about in the morning and see if what they're gonna say. So, yeah, I just hate it. I just hate it. I hate it for both of them. I really do.
Yeah, same here. But I want to say thank you for the call and have a great night.
You too, man.
All right, before we take another call, got some text messages here. This one says from 252, this is absolute trash. Cancel my subscription. Red lights were Kind of reminded me of Bloody Monster movie scene. I was wondering how many subscriptions will be canceled over the past few days. Or I think they meant the next couple of days. But it's like, how many times have we seen the cancel my subscription? Hashtag cancel WWE Network. And then we go to learn that they're about even with what they've been. That not many did actually cancel. So, we'll see. Looking here. 540 in the chat line says, question, what does WWE go from Hell in a Cell? Do we get a rematch of Crown Jewel? Regarding Rollins and Bray, I have no clue where this is leading to. Your guess is as good as mine right now. Trying to find out. Haven't heard anything. This person here says, I wanted to ask if Raw is going to invade SmackDown. They're not doing any of that. They're not doing the SmackDown invading Raw, Raw invading SmackDown thing this time around for the draft. No. Let's take another call, as we got quite a few calls still coming in. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hi, PWI?
Yes, PW.
What's up, man? First time calling you.
Oh, I appreciate that. How'd you like the show? What'd you think?
Like you've been saying all along, it's been good all the way till that end. I mean, I know I sound like a broken record just saying this, but holy heck, man, like, how many times are we still gonna put up with this? I mean, I just lost count how many times we said, oh, it was a good show up until the main event, or, you know what I'm saying?
No, I understand.
It's frustrating, and it's not the wrestlers' fault. They're doing their job. They're performing, but it's just the booking, man. And there's no direction, and like all this build up to the Fiend. I mean, I was just watching the show, and then excited to get to the main event to see what's gonna happen. But to end it like that, like, I mean, that's twice in a row, man. 2 years in a row, like, I don't know. And I feel like WWE, they take a step forward, and then a few days later they take just steps back. Because SmackDown on Friday was pretty good up until, again, the main event. And then we're like, okay, whatever. And then today, good show, and then you just, like, went all the way back.
Exactly.
Like the fans, the chants, and, you know, you can probably go back on the network and on their little clips. They're going to edit the hell out of those chants. I mean,
oh, for sure.
I don't think I've ever seen, or like recently, I mean, I've seen shows and clips on YouTube where like there's like small AEW chants or boring, but this today was just like, wow, you could just feel the emotion of the crowd. So, yeah, man, that's all I got to say. It's going to be interesting tomorrow. And honestly, man, like, I've been faithful with WWE, and I watch AEW, and I'm all for AEW. You know, I like this good competition and everything.
Right.
But with the state of how the company is now and what they're feeding us, it's just like, because actually they're coming to my town in November for a house show, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go, but I know it's just a house show, but still, I don't know if I should just keep supporting this company anymore. I don't know. You know,
house shows are usually really fun because the wrestlers get to do what they want in their matches. They usually get to just come up with everything for the most part, and they can go out there and have fun and stuff. I always enjoy house shows.
Yeah, the last time I went to a house show was like 12. It's been a long time. Last time they came to my town was this July for Monday Night Raw. I went. It was pretty good. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm just kind of just frustrated. I haven't been this. The last time I felt this frustration was probably, I can remember, Money in the Bank when Brock Lesnar just out of nowhere came out and just took over the whole show. I mean, this multiplies that by like 3 to 5, maybe 10.
Maybe. I think it's on the same level of what
okay,
the hell,
on the
why?
same level, but a little bit more. I mean,
right.
Yeah. So that's all I gotta say. Thanks for letting me rant on here a little bit.
Not a problem. Thanks for the call. Have a great night.
All right, you too, man.
And Cutler, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, what's up?
How are you doing? What did you think of the show?
Honestly, like, the Becky and Sasha match and the Erick, Rowan, and, like, Luke Harper and Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, those are good matches. Like, I feel like those are the best ones of the show. If not the only good things on the show, if you ask me. Or the only, like, really, really good stuff on the show. Like, everything else, like, some of it was good. Like, the Lacey and Natalya match was pretty good. Charlotte and Bayley was okay. I felt like for Charlotte and Bayley, like, having her crying on the ring or, like, next to the ring is kind of like, if we're trying to make her, like, a legitimate heel with Sasha, that's not really the direction we're trying to go.
Well, it was a playoff of the whole they cried after losing their belts at WrestleMania. That's what it was a playoff of.
Oh, okay. And just about The Fiend and Seth Rollins, I just was so mad after that. And I have a friend that was there, and just everybody was just so mad after it.
Yeah.
I felt like it was the worst possible thing that they could have done with it, and I felt like there were so many good things that they could have done with it, but I just, like, can't believe that Vince McMahon just managed to screw up something that he had going so well for him. And I don't even know I'm surprised at that point. Honestly, Vince McMahon has basically ruined almost every single good thing he had going for him, like, thus far. And I felt like it was just kind of dumb.
I feel your frustration 100%.
Do you think that there's any upside to this whole Fiend thing, or do you think it's just all bad at this point?
So I think the fans are still going to like the Fiend character, but I don't know. Like, I was iffy going into this of how much can the Fiend really sell in this match. The Fiend can't just go out there and squash Seth Rollins. And for them to do the whole, he just gets beat down, but he can't be beat, was working a little bit. But at the end, when it's like they put him on the stretcher, he wasn't moving, he was done, he was out, and then all of a sudden, he does an Undertaker sit-up and attacks Seth again. Like, that made no sense to me. And it's I've seen a couple people online saying he's too much of a character and too unrealistic for them. Now, I don't know how you feel about that and the character of Bray Wyatt and The Fiend, but it's like, yeah, you can have some comic book style characters in wrestling, but I don't know if this went a little too far with that.
Exactly. Honestly, like, I don't like the approach with The Fiend being like a supernatural sort of thing, because I feel like that was they were trying to get like a sort of Undertaker vibe from him.
Right.
And I feel like another thing that really pissed me off about this was I felt like it's that they had a DQ in a no DQ match. Hell in a Cell. The whole thing basically is almost no DQ, no escape.
Second year in a row they did that.
Exactly. It's kind of pathetic.
So.
Yeah, honestly, it's just like, I don't know how WWE can screw it up so bad. Honestly, they have we know that they hear us. We know that they hear the fans. We know that they heard the fans saying this is like this whole Fiend thing is like the best thing ever, and they were chanting AEW. So and they chanted AEW before when they did something bad, and like the fans, they were all over social media saying, "Man, this Fiend thing is the best thing ever." They were saying what they think should happen. They were saying that it was perfect. And then they go and do the opposite of what everybody wants, despite knowing that everybody loved it so much.
Right. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know where they go from here and how they can fix this. They're going to have to do a lot of damage control. But I want to say thank you for the call and have a great night.
You too, man.
All right. So, as we start to wind down, wrap things up, got a bunch of text messages here I want to read. Person says, do you think Seth will be on Raw tomorrow? He's got to be. He's a Universal Champion. He's got to be there. They got to explain something. This person here in the text message says, the way the main event ended, will this hurt Bray's character? I think a little bit. I think it can. I think it really can with the fans. This person's got a good idea. Next up, Bray and Seth should go last man standing. I mean, they obviously played up the whole, you can't pin the Fiend. Maybe you can knock him out long enough. This text message says, I was disappointed with all the filler matches here and why no Nakamura on the card. Hopefully down the line, we see an angle where he and Sami feud. Do you see that happening? Hopefully Shinsuke Nakamura. This person says, hopefully maybe we can get a luchador version of Sami Zayn against Nakamura. Person says, was Seth bleeding from his mouth as the Fiend? I think that was a blood capsule. At the end when he's got the mandible claw on and they were like zoomed in on his face, I believe that was a blood capsule. It did not look like real blood to me. Person says, saw the Goldberg special. Saw the Goldberg-Riddle confrontation. Do you think we'll see a match soon? I don't think so because Goldberg was just downplaying that he didn't even know who Matt Riddle is Friday. So this person's got a really, really good question here. 330 in the chat. In the text messages says, do you think the Hell in a Cell ending was maybe a Paul Heyman idea? That's a really good question. There's a good possibility of that, a very good possibility of that, to be completely honest. Person says, I think tonight's show was decent until the end. I really hope that the Fiend was going to win and would like to see Bray versus Brock at Survivor Series, but I don't know what WWE is going to do after this. And we'll see what happens. Yeah, they're got to do a lot of damage control here tonight, or after tonight. I don't know where they go from here, how they can fix this. It's just it was bad. At least last year, when the match ended in a no contest, the Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns Hell in a Cell match, it was because Brock interfered. Brock came down and beat them both down. They just couldn't continue. But this finish was just dumb, stupid, idiotic, because they basically said don't use the mallet, even though Bray used the mallet earlier. Then Bray was knocked out dead. They had to put him on a stretcher. He couldn't move. And then all of a sudden he was back from the dead. So it's just, I don't know. It's very weird, very odd. I'm confused by all of it. So with that was Hell in a Cell. I want to say thank you to everybody who did join us here live to talk about tonight's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Everybody who watches later right here on YouTube or listens on podcast services all around the world like iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, and more. We will be live again tomorrow night following Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys for joining me here tonight to talk about Hell in a Cell. Love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.